Hello everyone, welcome to the second episode of Robbie the Painter. Welcome to the show. Let me tell you what we got going on here. We're going to do a black canvas today, which should be very exciting. Some of you viewers out there have been asking, get into the black canvas, so we're going to do that today. I think we're going to do a little space scene, definitely up near the top, not sure at the bottom yet. We've already treated our pre-stretched canvas with the black gesso. If you're unsure on how to put that, apply that, go back to my 3-minute video on my page and watch that real quick. It's very easy to apply. Just want to make sure it's an even coat. Anyway, with that in mind, our second step is going to be putting some linseed oil on this canvas. And here's my linseed oil. You can use Bob Ross liquid clear, linseed oil. Either of those will work. And I have mine linseed oil in a little pot pie container. So it's a throwaway container. You can use anything. I just have a little bit of the linseed oil in here, and we're going to apply it to our canvas the same way we did the liquid white and the black gesso. A nice thin even coat. And we do not want very much of this linseed oil on here. So we're going to put a very thin coat. It's going to go a long way. We go back and forth like we did with the others. Up and down. And then back and forth one more time. And that should be good. If you get too much linseed oil on your canvas, don't panic. Take some paper towels and dab off the excess. And then spread it out again. If you think you still have too much, dab it again. You just want a thin coat. You'll know, I have many paintings where the paint has run. So if you make that mistake, I've done it many times. We want a thin coat. Okay, let's run the colors down at the bottom of the screen that we're going to use. Let's grab our palette with our colors on here. And I think the first thing we're going to do is go into some Prussian blue. This is our night sky. Let's just start up at the top. You know what? We're just going to cover this. Let's just go ahead and start at the top, and let's come down with the Prussian blue. I did not plan this out prior to the painting. I thought we'd just wing it and do a space painting. They're fairly easy, fairly quick. We'll see if we can get through this. We're going to keep coming down with the Prussian blue. Prussian blue is a very dark blue. I like it. It's great for night skies. Even in landscape paintings, Prussian blue. It's just different from your cerulean or a phthalo. Not darker. All right. Let's come down about 3 inches from the bottom. I have some other ideas down here. I believe this is the number 4 fan brush. We're going to go into some titanium white. Just a little bit here. Nebulas. Nebula, space cloud, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. We're just going to make some squiggly. I'm just taking and putting my fan brush on there. I'm going to grab some more white. And I'm twisting and turning. Just going to make some things, put some marks on the canvas. Maybe make it a little bit bigger in the middle. Come over here in the corner with what's left. Okay, let's come up here and let's see what happens if I start swirling this. Kind of using the top of the brush, kind of like we did with the clouds in the first painting. Kind of holding it at an angle, using the top bristles, and just blending a little bit. Not putting a lot of pressure. We're just blending out. Maybe a little more in the center, and then coming out. Just a little bit of blending in circles. We don't want to blend the color all the way. Come up here into the corner, and pretty good sky so far. Okay, we're going to put, in mine, we're going to put some planets in here. That way do maybe a couple planets. And so let's start with our biggest planet. Let's grab a 2-inch brush. That should be a good size planet. I have Indian yellow and yellow ochre. In my first episode, I said okra. Oh, not a vegetable. Ochre, yellow ochre. Let's start with the yellow ochre first. Yeah, change my mind on the fly here. All right, going to get quite a bit of the yellow ochre on our 2-inch brush. And we're going to find where our big planet is going to be. Let's say it's right there. So I stick the brush against the canvas and I turn all the way around it in a circle. Okay. Now I'm going to come back with a clean fan brush. Same color. Coming into that yellow ochre. And just going to trace around. Yeah, I probably should have used this instead of the 2-inch brush. Note to self. All right. There, we've got one planet already. Nebulous here, or gas cloud, planet here. I'm guessing it might be a little lighter on the side next to the cloud. Looks pretty dark in the sky over here. Looks pretty light on this side. I'm going to grab my liner brush and come into some Indian yellow. And just get some Indian yellow. And I'm going to come around this edge of the planet with some Indian yellow. Let's grab a little more. It's mixing with that blue underneath, so we're going to get you're going to get a lot of different colors and that. But what we're trying to do is put some highlights just on this side of the planet. And I'm going to add some more. I want this edge of the planet to be a little more defined. Let's go back into our dark color, our yellow ochre. Just not happy with this edge just yet. I want to define this edge of the planet. And so we're just going to come around like that, getting some color on this side. That looks a little bit better. All right. Yep. All right, I'm liking that. Get it? We get it. Okay, we're going to come into some titanium white, and we're going to come along just on this outer edge our titanium white, down and around. Grab some more. May have to wipe off your brush in between. Come around and put a little highlight on that edge from our gas cloud nebula side. I'm going to wipe off my brush on my paper towel. And let's add a little more white to that, to this side. All right, there we go. We're going to come to the other side. So where I'm going to use my Van Dyke brown. Come into a little Van Dyke brown. Come to this opposite side. We're just applying a little dark color to this side. All right. Now we're going to get quite a bit of Van Dyke brown on the tip of our liner brush. And we're going to make a couple circles. Or something that resembles maybe a crater. Get some more Van Dyke brown. Put a couple of these on here. They don't have to be perfect circles. They can be odd shaped. In fact, they can have little arms and stringers that come off of them. Maybe there's a little canyon attached to that crater. And we'll put a couple small ones here and there. Just gives a little bit of detail to the planet. Okay, we're going to step back and we're going to look, see what we've got. All right, I think I want one more crater. Maybe right here. That's a big one. Big crater. Okay. Dot it here and there with a couple of dark spots. On this side. Boy, this planet's been through a lot. It's got a lot of holes in it. All right. Now, let's wipe off that brush. Doesn't need to be completely dry or have the Van Dyke brown off of it. I just don't want a whole lot of Van Dyke brown still on the brush because we're gonna come on this. Our light is right here from the cloud. Our crater's right here. This right-hand side of the crater, we're just gonna take our liner brush and make some little marks, pulling to the right. Grab some of that Van Dyke brown from the crater and pull out. Hey everybody, we're back. So apparently the camera shut off about 5 minutes ago while I was doing some of the detail work on the craters that we started. I had added a couple more craters and I was showing you how to make these striation lines on the craters to make them a little more three-dimensional and give it a little more detail. So I think since the camera shut off, let's grab our liner brush. Let's add another crater. So I've got a couple craters going here. Looks like about 3-4 good sized ones, and then I put some smaller craters around. Let's put another crater. Let's come right along here. Let's put a crater down there. Make it a little bit bigger. And you can put your craters wherever you want. You don't have to follow exactly what I'm doing. Okay, wiping off my my liner brush here. So what I was saying to do is to create this these little finger striations that come away from the crater, we take our liner brush and we come up to the edge of the crater and we pull out. Pull out. And if this is our gas cloud, which would be our light source, and we want this side, the left side of our planet, to be lighter, then we're going to want the right side to be a little bit darker, and that's where we see our striations come out. Although we're putting them in on all sides. Let's come over to this big one here, and we'll just put a couple coming out. I'm just very lightly flicking, making little striations. All right. Grab some more brown. I'm going to darken this one down here that I just made. Darken the center of it so it shows up a little bit better. There, it shows up a little bit better. Okay, the other thing we can do is darken up this shadowed part of the planet. If our light source is on the left, let's darken up this side just a little more. And I'm just taking, and I just went through my striations, but it's okay. We're going to fix it here in a second. All right, everything's fixable. We're just adding a little more dark to this side of the planet. Okay, kind of took away my striations, so I'm going to grab a little tiny bit of brown, come up here to this crater. We're going to put them back in. There we go. Put some striations back in. Darken that up just a little more in the center. All right. Looks pretty good, looks pretty good. I'm going to wipe off the brown for right now. In fact, let's wash our liner brush off. If you're happy with your craters and your little striations that come off of them, let's wash our liner brush, and let's wipe that off. Let's come up into some white. Put a couple more highlights on this planet here, and we'll call it done for right now. So I'm going to put a little bit of highlight on the left side facing our nebula cloud. The left side of our craters is going to add a little bit of white in a couple spots to highlight it. It'll be subtle. And in fact, I've got too much white on this one here. Let's add a little more white to this side. Let's really make this planet pop. And it's okay if your planet isn't perfectly round. It's all right. Planets are bumpy. Another bit of white. I'm coming in with another layer. I want to brighten this side up. Then we stand back and see how that looks. Boy, that's really making that that brighten up. Let's grab some more white. Just going to put some light areas here and there. In fact, some of this, I'm just touching the white on there. Little dots, kind of like we did with the brown. It'll be little features. Okay. I'm going to be anxious to see what you guys come up with. I've done a few planets. Some of them have turned out a little better than others. You never know. All right. Let's call that one done. Okay. Let's move on. We're going to put a couple planets in, some stars, and then I've got an idea for the bottom. I think it's going to be pretty cool. So, if that's our big planet, let's grab our fan brush. And what's our other color planet? I'm thinking, since we have alizarin crimson, and we're going to take our paintbrush, let's figure out where our other planet is. Well, I think mine's going to be up here. And I'm going to lay my fan brush down and spin it just to get an outline, kind of an outline of our planet. This is a little smaller than the other planet. All right, we've got a general shape. We'll come back and define that just a little bit better. Okay, it's going to be hard to see. Alizarin crimson doesn't show up against the that blue very well. Set our fan brush down for a second. Gonna wash our liner brush off real quick. Make sure it doesn't have any yellow ochre or Indian yellow on it or white. At least not yet. Okay. Let's come up into the alizarin crimson with our liner brush. We're going to load up and get a good bit of alizarin crimson on your liner brush. We're going to come up here. We're going to define this side of our planet. Just make it. Just follow the pattern you made with your fan brush. We're going to draw that circle around. Now that we've got kind of have our outline drawn with the fan brush, let's come around the entire planet with alizarin crimson, just to define it. That's what we're going to do first, is define it. All right. I'm just spreading around some of this alizarin crimson. Okay. Now, let's come in, without washing our liner brush, let's come into some titanium white. Our gas clouds here. We know that this planet here, the light side of it from the gas cloud is on this side. Well, if this crimson planet is over here, the light's going to be on this side. So we're going to highlight. We're going to come around. As best as you can stay in the line, again, your planet may change shape here because we may get out of the lines. That's okay. If it gets a little bit bigger, we'll make it a little bit bigger. Okay, we'll grab some more white and just start filling in some of this whole side over here. What might be shining from that gas cloud. I want this side to be a lot brighter. especially on the edge. So we're just adding a little more titanium white, brighten up that side. And again, if you get out of the lines like I just did, all right. We'll just adjust. Sometimes stand back, see what you need to do. Okay. I'm going to wipe that titanium white off. Now we're going to go into the alizarin crimson. Just straight alizarin crimson. And let's put a couple craters in. Let's put one. Sometimes you might have to turn the brush as you lay it on. We already have quite a bit of white on here. So you may have to turn your brush and spin it a little bit to get it to stick. There's a crater. There's another little one up here. We can even have craters that we don't really see that kind of go around the bottom. So if we come right up by our edge and we put some dark in, we've got a little crater there at the bottom. Now, wipe off the excess crimson off your brush. And I'm just using, I don't have my overhead camera working right now, so we're doing this on the fly. I'm just wiping off the excess. Still has crimson on my liner brush. We're going to come along and put some striations, pulling out. And I'm running out of room, but you get the idea. Couple striations coming out from that crater. I picked up a little white, so I'm rubbing that kind of off. I'm going to come up here to this bottom one we just put in, and I'm going to start from the center where the alizarin crimson is, and I'm going to draw my little striations through the white part, through the pink part. There we go. You can make them a little, I add a little crimson onto my brush and start in the middle here. We can make some of those striations a little bit bigger if you want. So that one goes out a little bit farther. Okay. Now, this side, it's a little, we want it dark, but it's a little too dark. So we're gonna take and from the dark into the light part, we're gonna start blending. And I already have some pink on my brush. Just gonna blend a little bit of this. And the more we stay in the dark area, it'll continue to stay dark. It'll mix with this lighter color and we'll stay dark. All right, so I just kind of blended it a little bit. Just a little bit of blending. I actually want this a little darker. I think I've got my light coming up a little too far here, so I want to darken this up here. Now, all I'm doing, I'm not adding paint to my brush. I'm just taking some of that alizarin crimson that's already underneath. In fact, I can go here in the center and grab some of it. Just darken this edge up here at the top. That looks more like the light's just hitting those areas. Now, wipe off our liner brush. We're almost done with this planet. We're not going to do a whole lot of detail to this planet. Wipe that off. Come into our titanium white. And we have a little bit on the end. We're just going to dot in a few spots our planet, just to give it some, and we're coming here into the pink area, just a couple dots here and there. Now, that may be too bright. All right. Soften that. If when you stand back, it looks too bright, wipe off that titanium white, get your brush kind of dry, and we come up here to the, I'm looking at this little spot here, just going to tap it till it diffuses a little bit. I'm not trying to get rid of them all together. I just want to take down that, you know, the really bright white. So I'm just touching a little bit, backing up, see what I like, what I don't like. Okay. What do you think? 3 planets, good enough? All right, for that one, we are going to, we're going to use our finger on this. Let's go right, yeah, we're going to get dirty. Put our finger in the titanium white, and we're going to get some titanium white on the end of our finger. We're going to come up here, pick a spot. I'm liking, decisions. Let's go right up here in between the two. And I'm just going to press my finger. Just go around a little circular motion. Okay, that's our last planet. In fact, I'm going to lighten that up right in the center. Let's grab our liner brush instead of using my finger. Wash off the liner brush, get the crimson off of it. Dry it off real quick. Come up here into some titanium white. And just going to put some titanium white in a couple spots. All right. Ooh, that looks kind of cool. Looks like there might be a cloud swirling across that planet. Okay. Wipe off our liner brush again. And if you need to wash it, if you picked up other color, we're going to want to come into titanium white again. And we're going to spin our brush, try to get it to a point as much as possible. Get our liner brush to a point. And we're going to add some distant stars. So we've got our 3 planets, we've got our sky looking pretty good. We're going to put and I'm randomly touching. Come back up here, get some on the point of your brush, your liner brush. Maybe this one has a little moon behind it. Make it a little bit bigger. All right, little moon behind that one. The other thing we could do is touch the canvas and flick. The shooting star right there. So we just put a shooting star in. And we don't have to put too many of these in. Of course, there's billions of stars and planets and everything out there, but we get the idea. Now, I used to have a toothbrush sitting around. I found it, my toothbrush. I mean, it's not the one, yeah. So what we're going to do, dip our toothbrush into a little bit of the paint thinner. Come over here to, this white. And hopefully that's thin enough. And we're going to take, and I'm going to flick, just going to flick a little bit. We just added another million stars there. Got to be careful. This will get everywhere. Okay, that's probably enough. A couple flicks is good. I said I had something, an idea for this down here. Don't know how it's going to turn out. I haven't done this before, but I have an idea. I'm going to wash my fan brush. It still has alizarin crimson on it. Wipe that off. Try to get it wiped off pretty good. Okay. We're going to take our fan brush now. I think we're good on the upper part. Got an idea for this bottom. Take our clean, dry fan brush that we were using earlier, and we're going to come into titanium white and get a pretty good amount of titanium white on your fan brush. Doesn't have to be both sides. We can use one side. And I'm going to come across here. About 2 inches up, all the way across. And work that down. Work it down to the bottom. Okay, let's grab our dry blender brush. And let's start blending all that in. We're going to start coming up into our blue that we put on the canvas earlier. Okay, come across. And I'm giving it a good, I'm wiping off the 2-inch brush. Boy, my lighting needs some adjustment. Come up here. I'm going to blend this a little more. I want to get rid of these lines if I can. So I'm doing circles right where the white meets the sky. Just kind of blending that a little more. Okay. And now I want to take, let's clean off our fan brush real quick. It's got the titanium white on it. Give it a quick wipe. We're going to come into the Prussian blue that we used for the sky earlier. Get quite a bit, and we're going to load up both sides of the fan brush, Prussian blue. And we're going to come along here. Start over here. And just gonna flipping my brush over now. Put in a little mountain range. Little mountain range. And just blending that underneath the mountain range. Again, like I said, I didn't have a plan. I just had an idea in my head. So I'm going to run that along, follow my mountain with the fan brush underneath here. And okay. Now I'm going to take and turn my fan brush horizontal, flat against here, and lift up very lightly. All the way across our mountain range. All right, looks like some distant trees there. Let's come back and we're going to stick with the blue all the way to the end, I believe. Put in a couple evergreens. Make our mark. Fan brush. Back and forth in a zigzag motion all the way down. Grab some more blue, load it up on both sides. Put one right next to him. A little smaller, a little shorter tree. And start with the corner edge. And do your zigzag pattern down. Harder and harder as we go down. Like that. Okay, let's come over the other side. Make this one a little bit bigger. Some of this we won't see. We're going to load a lot of paint on here. We're going to start up a little higher. Flipping my fan brush over. Grab some more. Let's darken this up at the bottom. Just add in some color there. All right. A little more Prussian blue on our fan brush. Let's come do a shorter tree right here. And again, his branches won't be as wide as the big one we just put. And let's finish it off with one more. And we'll go a little taller than that short one and not as tall as the big one. Medium tree. Just make our mark. Start at the top. And if we want, we can make this tree a little different. There's the trunk. We're going to skip down a little bit and finish him off like that. He's missing a few branches there in the middle. Something happened. All right. And if you don't like that, you can always come in and change that. So I think it looks pretty good. We've got a finished painting. There we go. Hope you guys like this. The space paintings are fairly easy and they turn out different every time. You know, your planets are never going to look exactly the same. So we'll see you on the next episode. Bye.